Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I'm gonna be honest. I had a lot of problems with this episode. I had a lot of problems with this episode, and gonna start off with Drew for a minute. They have no idea what the hell they're doing with this character. They really don't. And the scene starts off with him, and to be honest, I didn't even know who she was until after. Let me sit there and check my notes for a minute. Okay. To be honest, I still don't know who she is. He thought her name was Mia. I I guess she's a reporter or something. I'm gonna be honest, they didn't really make that seem clear. And well, sidebar, she is his actual wife in real life. I saw it on Instagram. Cam was sitting there making like a big deal out of it, like, oh, it's gonna be her first debut and yada yada yada. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Is she actually going to be doing more than what she was doing? Because to be honest, in this scene, she asks him a bunch of questions, and it just seems like he is directionless. It's the best word I could sit there and describe him. Oh, I'm thinking about going to like. I don't even know where these questions are going. To be honest, like all he says is he's going to be working at Aurora. Okay, cool. But you also was talking about how you were struggling and you saw like you seem like you lost your passion. So what exactly are you doing? I'd be wrong. I think his wife actually did a great job. I just don't know exactly what she did. Um Now on the other side of town, and this is one of those big glaring problems that I've said before, DC Soap Sanctuary said before, and I'm pretty sure Brock TV at one point said this. You got too many damn people on canvas. Okay, just way too many damn people. Um, Maxie, wound up getting stood up because Austin was still, surgery or whatever, doing something that doctors do. I don't exactly know what he was doing, but he couldn't make it. So she wound up meeting up with Spinelli, and she was Here's the thing, Maxie wanted to meet up with Austin because she really wanted distraction. Um, because she wanted to sit there and see who Britt was going to wind up meeting up with. Long story short, Britt didn't want to meeting up with anyone, but she wanted to sit there and kind of crash in, kind of sit there and see, who Britt was sitting there going out with, and eventually, um, she got Spinelli to sit there and go along with him, along with her. So they wound up going, and again, Britt's date wound up standing her up, and so her and Drew started talking. Maxie walks in, and Maxie's like, "Oh wow, you're with Drew, this, that, and the third." And I'm gonna be honest. Before that, before they actually wound up getting there, once again, Drew just seems like he's just kind of lost and wandering around aimlessly. Talking about he's still having a hard time adjusting back to, being around his family and everything like that. And I guess he's starting to feel some of the pressures of, people around him, like, oh, who are you going to go out with? What are you going to be doing? Like, are you going back to Aurora? What's going on? And, he's kind of just like, I don't really know. And the problem is, I feel like the writers don't know either. So we just got Cameron Madison just kind of hanging out and everything. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy the scenes that he's in, but also feels like he's not really doing much of anything. So they just kind of really sit there and talk about what they want and their expectations and kind of just rolling with the punches. And I'm gonna be honest, that conversation goes absolutely nowhere. Britt and Spinelli show. I mean, not Britt. Maxie and Spinelli shows up, and there's one point where Britt talks about how she was stood up and she was kind of glad because, she starts talking a bunch of crap about like online dating and something. And Spinelli, I don't know if he gets upset or whatever, but he brings up something. And it made me think, was Spinelli the person that Britt was supposed to sit there and meet? But that can't be true because, well, it's not like Tinder or anything like that. Like, you got to actually show your face. So, um, but then when he left, Max was listening to this, saying like, are you in the Brit? And can you imagine those two together? Can you imagine Britt and Spinelli together? And before anyone starts laughing and maybe throwing up a little bit, there was a point where where Spinelli and Maxie was a thing. And honestly, to tell you the truth, a lot of people liked it. I enjoyed their scenes. I enjoyed their scenes together. But I would sit there and really wonder how Britt and Spinelli would actually do in the same room for too long, let alone dating. Oh, I would pay money to actually see that. To be honest, that actually sounds quite entertaining. They need to do that. We'll talk about Curtis for a minute because I'm going to be honest. Curtis was annoying the living hell out of me today. Curtis was annoying me. I'm pretty sure Curtis was annoying Miss Wu. Kept asking over and over again, well, I'll let the game go, so when am I going to get those records? The game is going, so when am I going to get the records? And like even like before the episode ended, um, Curtis was like, well, the game is going now, so when am I going to get the records? Am I going to get it now? Like, what's going on? And Miss Wu's like, yeah, you'll get it tomorrow. Like, bro, calm down. Like, just the constant whining after a while. I don't know. He just annoyed the living hell out of me. Now, Selena wasn't there keeping Brad on a tight leash, um, just making sure that he doesn't slip up or whatever. There was one point where Brad came back with the alcohol, and he was like, "Oh, well, Judge so and so, wants this," and Selena was like, "Yo, the hell is wrong with you?" But to some extent, I gotta sit there and defend Brad a little bit because this is his first game and he doesn't know the ins and outs about, discretion. But Selena was like, listen, I'm gonna give you this one night. You're gonna make your mistakes. Just don't make them twice. Um, Sonny came in there. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Sonny's whole presence in this episode was just completely pointless. All he did was come in there, kind of annoy Selena. Um, he wanted to go back there and talk to the boys or, whoever was back there, even though Selena was like, no, the game is in progress, they good. And, Sonny was like, no, I want to go and say hi. I want to go and say hi. Hey, bro, I didn't, that's not really that big of a deal, but I'm sure, whatever. Um, yeah, Sonny's whole presence in this episode was just pointless. And this is coming from a person who really likes Sonny. But I could have really did without him in this whole episode, to be honest. Um, he did sit there and talk to. He did sit there and talk to Curtis about, oh, well, I see you got the records, another way. You doing games in the back room or whatever. This is not usually your style. Curtis like, well, it's just business. I'm like, just business, right? This is just you compromising yourself, Oh, I'm not gonna sit there and let the mob really, like get into my club life and this, that, and the third. And now, she pretty much got her whole foot in his door, and she's gonna have the other foot too because, well, she's Selena, and it's just how it goes. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a huge Selena fan, but I mean, to be fair, she does seem like the type of person that's like, you know, she does you a favor, she's going to want something more and more and more and more. Um, and she is the type of person that seems like she has no problem playing hardball with people. Um, So Marshall comes to go see, well, Marshall comes to see Epiphany and he starts whining like a baby, talking about, oh, well, Curtis is sitting there asking me a bunch of questions and I don't like it, so now I'm going to sit there and leave town. I'm like, leave? Like, seriously, leave. I say that because we've been dealing with this whole Marshall storyline for quite a while, and I get it. It's a soap opera. They want to sit there and kind of stretch it out a little bit and, not kind of rush a lot of stuff or not really give too much hints or anything like that. But the only thing that we found out about Marshall is that he wasn't in witness protection. Great. How long did we been dealing with this whole Marshall situation, and we just now found out he's not in witness protection? So that gets us closer to absolutely nothing. And so hearing him whine about how his son is asking him way too many questions, like, bro, just kick rocks. Just go somewhere else at this point, because it's just like, well, what are you doing here? But Epiphany wants to sit there and give him some tough love, and that's exactly what she does. It's like, yo, you came back here to be with your family, right? So what's the problem? Be with your family, ride this whole ship out, and it's gonna get hard before it gets better, some sort of life lesson that she was meant to be trying to give. But the point is, she gave him some tough love, and to be honest, I don't even know if it worked because I saw in the next preview that Marshall Smith there talking to Trina about leaving. I'm like, okay, you're still here because the thing is with Drew, this character, what he's been doing so far that he's gotten, when he's gotten back has been, if he's not doing anything as far as trying to get stuff on Victor, which is interesting, then he's just kind of not really doing too much of anything else. And I mean, the bar, for a lot of it, a lot of people sitting there saying that Drew's going to be with Carly. And I don't want that for a number of reasons. Now you sit there seeing Drew with Britt. And, people are like, hey, that can work. I mean, to be honest, a lot of people, and I'm going to be honest, I really do have to agree on this. I hate saying this because, Jason's my guy. Okay? Jason is my guy. But, this whole romance between Jason and Britt was like a week, 2 weeks at the most. And yet she's sitting there going on this expensive matching site or whatever and be like, I don't like him, I don't like him, he's not danger enough, he's not this, he's not that, he's not Jason. No one's Jason. The guy that you know for like damn near 2 weeks. Like, I don't know. I mean, at this point, you could sit there and throw with Spinelli, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much people can actually sit there and take a Spinelli because, for me personally, I feel like if Spinelli is not with Jason, if he's not with Maxie, then sometimes it could be kind of annoying. To be honest, kind of annoying. But yeah, I don't really have anything positive to say about that. I just don't. TJ was there looking for Grandpa, even though there's no DNA test, but we're still going to sit there and say that he's Grandpa. And he's all like, well, he comes to, after talking to Sonny for a little bit, or before Sonny, I don't exactly remember which one. Oh, it's before Sonny. He pretty much comes to Curtis like, Marshall's mad at you because about the whole job thing and this, that, and the third. And, Curtis like, all right, yeah, let him be mad. Let him confront me. Whatever. I mean, the dude is pretty much lying. He's been lying the whole time. So, Curtis at this point just like, I really don't care. One day I'm actually just gonna sit there and buy water specifically for my reviews. Have like one last drop. I'm like, I gotta go up and get another one. So let's talk. Oh, what was Smith saying? Oh yeah, let's talk about the whole Cam and Spencer and Jordan and Laura and Rory. Now, one of the things that Spencer said was actually funny. Because Cam was like, you're in here because you hit an officer. And Spencer was like, "You mean an officer that's not that much older than us?" And I was like, "You know what? That is actually kind of true." Um, they're arguing back and forth about, Cam not going along with the plan, and Cam is not really happy with the plan because, he's not there trying to defend Spencer, but he's getting a whole bunch of heat from Jocelyn. And, so they go back and forth about that. Meanwhile, Jordan says something that I might have touched on yesterday when Jordan was like, him trying to arrest both of them by himself. I did say that wasn't exactly like a safe thing to do. I mean, granted, Spencer kind of calmed down and just kind of gave him lip, and Cam was more compliant. But like, bro, I mean, the fact that he's not that much older than them, like if he would have pulled something like that on bigger guys, it would have ended really badly. So, I'm surprised that Jordan didn't come down on him a little bit more tougher than than she was. But at some point, Laura gets there and Finn gets there after leaving Chase. Both get there. Cam gets sprung. Laura has to talk with him, and at first I was like, I stood there and looked at Laura. I was like, wait. I don't understand. Why are you letting Cam go, but you're more harsher on Spencer? And Cam was the one that hit Spencer. Now, I get the fact that Spencer did hit an officer, even if it was by accident. He was just being very arrogant and entitled. But I'm like, you kind of gave Cam a bit more of a stern talking to. Like, he was the one that hit Spencer first, but, when he left, Laura's like, well, I should just sit there and just leave you here. I'm like, really? Anyway, Spencer gets upstairs, and, they kind of leave it to Rory to decide on what to do with Spencer. Now, one of the questions was, is it going to violate his parole? It doesn't. But, Spencer continues to act like the self entitled rich prick that, well, he's known for. But Rory's like, yeah, I'm just going to give you a warning and whatever. And, I mean, let's be honest. What else was he really going to sit there and do? I mean, he could have, no, I'm going to write you up or whatever. But between Laura being the mayor and, Jordan kind of having an end, it just wasn't going to happen. So, it's just really bad. And I'm not gonna get into that scene of why, but I think everyone in the comment section knows. I'm not saying it because I don't sit there and dive into certain topics unless it's relevant to the episode. So it's kind of me saying it without saying it. Now Chase is not there looking at the security cams or whatever, and Aiden comes in there. Aiden's like, hey, I want to sit there and do something for my school project. I want to, contact ghosts and Ouija boards. And I'm like, Chase just kind of doesn't really think much of it. He's like, oh, that's kind of weird, but whatever. And he agrees to sit there and help him, which, I'll sit there and say it again. I'm not going to sit there and try to make it sound like a PSA, but it's a bad idea. Okay? It's a bad idea. It's a very, very, very bad idea. Don't do it. And you know what? Screw it. I was going to sit there and say, you don't know who you're contacting. There. With that being said, they decide to host their seance, and there's one point where Aiden's like, oh, Franco, no, if it's you, communicate with me or whatever. And Chase kind of realized, like, oh, okay. And then the lights cut off. But it turns out it was like a power outage or something, maybe. Um, when Kevin does come to pick him up, and I guess he goes back to laying on the couch, he does hear something, and when Finn takes home Cam, they walk in there and they see Chase on the floor. So I was gonna, the sad thing I was gonna sit there and say it's a real person, but it can also be Liz. It can also be Liz. So, but I'm gonna be honest. The thing is, if it's not Liz, who the hell could it be? I mean, seriously, who could it be? I think that's about it for the most part. Yeah, I think that's about it for the most part. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. See you in the next video.